So we built Root66. It is a chaotic cooking and driving game that challenges you to deliver smoothies quickly. This game is about you, the proud owner of a new smoothie slinging food truck. Unfortunately, staffing is a little tight these days, so you have to do everything yourself, blending smoothies, delivering drinks to your en route customers, all while safely navigating the historic Route 66. Your objective is to make the most money by delivering orders quickly and accurately, but watch out for wackier and crazier obstacles as the levels progress. So without further ado, I will show you a little bit of our gameplay. Alright, so as I'm driving down Route 66 here, this is kind of like a physics-based driving game. As you can see, as I drive, turn left to right, as well as crash into cars, the physics of the game do affect my my cooking station up here on my dashboard. So up at the top, I have orders popping up with various ingredient variations. Looks like car number 3 is ordering a taro smoothie, so I'll get concocting that right now. I'll take my taro, start blending, and as I'm approaching these cars, I don't want to crash into them like I had done the previous ones, so I can hit the brakes and steer left and right in order to better navigate this car into my view. Once I've got this car around me, I've got their order complete, I'm going to try to navigate as quickly and carefully as I can. If I miss them, I can see them a little bit in my rear view mirror, and I'm going to toss the smoothie out to them. That's great. I just got it, and it's a little small on the HUD, but I can see that I've scored $10. This is going pretty good for me so far. Looks like I've got a potato smoothie up next. Gonna be careful not to crash into this car, it's a little close to me. Oh, I think I missed, and I just got penalized for littering. In this game, there's a lot of difficulties, so you really want to be careful not getting your orders wrong, as well as avoiding littering or crashing into objects, as we just saw. So, that is our Game Jam game, Route 66. We took a lot of inspiration from old school arcade racing simulators, such as Crazy Taxi, as well as other cooking and restaurant simulation games such as Overcooked and PlateUp. So what's next for Route 66? We did a little bit of a rebranding. We'll be changing our name as well as hopefully moving on to fruit smoothies, root vegetables. We're great for the theme, but a little weird. After that, let's see. We're going to be moving on to from the pseudo 3D look with 2D art into full 3D. And we're looking at overhauling our driving system with more obstacles, refined controls, as well as new mechanics. We're introducing better level progression and difficulties, and maybe even bosses. So that's a quick look at Route 66. Any questions that I can answer?
Well, first of all, we all need to heckle Ron Jones for calling this a great mashup. I mean, it's a blender. It's not a mashup. But, yeah, a lot of good praise out in the chat. So it's interesting that you were showing the 2D art off the bat, and you're using Unity 3D, of course. Good chance to get much better art in the game. How do you intend to go ahead and get that new art for the game? You looking for folks? You already have folks on your team who can do 3D art.
Yeah, we're actually really lucky to have a very talented team. They did the 2D art for the Game Jam just out of the interest of time. But now that we've got a little bit more time to work with, all of our artists are working on 3D assets. So really excited for that.
Are you going to go ahead and add animations to that? I mean, more than just spinning tires? Or are you? I'm specifically thinking the blender. I have to admit, I want to see stuff being made.
Yes, absolutely. That is the plan, as well as player accessibility through a lot of feedback, as well as a lot of things we skipped in the interest of time. There is not exactly a guided tutorial. We're looking to introduce one, as well as just clearly telegraph on the screen through the UI of what's going on and better help you immerse into your environment of driving.
Excellent. AJ Holt asks, what kind of bosses are you thinking of adding? How would they interact with the player?
That's a great question. So in our regular levels, we're looking at introducing maybe multiple orders per car. You have hungry families looking to order like 2-3 smoothies at a time. And our bosses are kind of a variation of that. We're thinking of making like bonus levels where you're delivering to an entire school bus of children, and you got like 20 orders to make in a fast amount of time, while being careful to avoid special objects in these levels.
And make sure you don't get any sugar in that school bus. Those teachers are going to be mad you deliver a whole bunch of sugar up. Jennifer says, looks great. The car controls look easy to use. That was something I was going to ask. The car controls are nice and simple. And there could be advantages from adding some complexity to it. Some ability to add neat features, but also a lot of advantage in keeping it streamlined and having the game really focus on the order delivery. Are you thinking of adding more controls to the driving?
For driving, we're definitely looking at fine tuning it, and catering it to like player preferences, maybe making it a little smoother. But we're definitely looking to keep it simple, as this is a pretty chaotic game. There's a lot of things to focus on. So the driving, at least, shouldn't be causing you too much of a headache. We are looking to streamline some other controls, however, such as throwing smoothies. We're looking at introducing maybe a cannon mechanic where you're shooting smoothies instead, just to help simplify the controls a little bit in a fun way that adds complexity.
And we see what you did there, where you say you're going to make it smoother. We caught that. I imagine there are a lot of those jokes going on inside the team. Thorsten Frank asked, where can you buy or download the game? If any of you are in chat, do you want to share your link to the itch.io page there? And Frank, you should be able to see it if you're in YouTube, in the YouTube description as well. But yeah, if any of the Root team wants to go ahead and share the link to your game, that'd be great.
Definitely. I like that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yes, I was about to say one of my team members can link to the existing Game Jam game. That is free to play, and as for the upcoming game, well, that's still to be announced. Yes.
We will ask that question in a minute. And Wonder J asks, does the game tell you the buttons to press when you start the game if you're a new player?
No, it does not. But that is great feedback that we are looking at implementing.
Oh, well, let's talk about that. Do you plan for a tutorial, or just let people start pressing keys and finding things out?
That is exactly the plan. A guided tutorial, as well as a very clear UI that tells you exactly what you're looking at, as well as the buttons and options that you have.
It's very funny. I was on a UX discussion just a week ago. We were going on back and forth. I'm an old school believer in tutorials that explain kind of everything, and half the panelists, newer gamers, or newer game devs, just get them in there, let them start pressing buttons. So I think both are valid as long as they're well executed, and both are a pain when they're poorly done. And I've done it poorly both ways. All right. Wonder J says he learned from the best. So let's talk about plans for the game. Obviously, we want to see all of these games make it into distribution one way or another. We're glad you're already up on itch. You said that some of this was to be announced. Go ahead and tell us what you can tell us. What would you like this game to end up on? Do you see it on Steam as a paid one? This could be a mobile title, to be honest. Where do you see it going?
Yeah, those are all options that we considered, especially given the opportunity for this competition. The different formats that we considered for our game, it could definitely work pretty well as a mobile title. Being able to tap and drag things while you turn your phone left and right in order to drive. We personally think that given the opportunity and maybe a little bit more time than this month, this would work really fun as a VR title. Being able to maybe with a couple of changes to not have too much motion sickness, driving and cooking with the workstation around you, we think that would be a really fun, immersive experience.
Excellent, and especially the crashes. Crashes are always great in VR. Sorry, no. But I think then we've got you the right mentor for this one, so glad to hear that. All right, let's ask about audio, music, etc. What are your hopes or plans?
We're also looking at getting some more immersive sounds as well. We went with some pretty basic ones for the Game Jam game. We're actually looking at recording some of our own sounds for the game to help them, kind of like seamlessly work within each other, and maybe provide another level of accessibility for the player. For example, a smoothie blending sound, blending for as long as the smoothie is going, so that while you're doing other tasks, such as looking out of your car in order to deliver a smoothie, you can still hear how the smoothie is going, even when you're not directly looking at it. That way you can kind of time things a little bit better. So those are some of our plans for the sound design.
Excellent. Wonder J also says he think it'd make a great Switch game. Last question. What part of Unity gave you the most problems with this game?
Oh man, the pseudo 3D look was a big challenge for us, and specifically getting tweaking the colliders so that objects aren't too sensitive towards each other, but also very generous in how the player can deliver smoothies. We definitely wanted to add there's enough complexity to the game itself. We don't want to introduce more frustrations, so that's definitely something that we had to tweak and fine tune. And we're still a little unhappy with the way it is now, so that's something that we're definitely looking at improving.